10 collagen-rich foods you must eat for your legs and joints. After the age of 60, problems like swelling, aching knees, and stiff joints become a daily struggle for many people. What most do not realize is that one of the biggest reasons behind these issues is the body's sharp decline in collagen production. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition has shown that by the age of 65, collagen levels in the body can fall to less than half of what is needed to keep cartilage strong and joints flexible. This shortage not only leads to wrinkles on the skin, but also to thinning cartilage, reduced joint fluid, and painful inflammation that makes walking, climbing stairs, or even standing for long periods far more difficult. Yet there is hope, and it may be closer than you think. Scientists have discovered that 10 everyday foods, many of them already familiar in American kitchens, can help restore collagen, reduce swelling, and strengthen the joints when eaten consistently. These are not exotic supplements or expensive treatments, but simple foods that, when added to your routine, can bring remarkable relief and renewal. In today's video, we are going to reveal the 10 collagen-rich foods that can transform the way your legs and joints feel. Before we begin, leave a comment below and tell us where you are watching from. And be sure to stay with us until the very end, because the final food on our list may surprise you. It is something so common, so close at hand, yet most people never realize its hidden power. Now, let us begin with the very first food. Number 1. Chicken thighs with skin. Few things surprise people more than learning that the part of the chicken so often discarded, the skin, may hold one of the most powerful answers to aching joints and swollen legs. For decades, chicken skin was treated as an enemy, something greasy and best left on the plate. Yet new science reveals a truth that should bring both hope and relief. The golden skin that crisps in the oven or softens in a slow stew is rich in type 2 collagen, the very material the body needs to cushion knees, stabilize hips, and ease the daily burden of stiff ankles. To ignore it is to overlook a natural remedy that has been in American kitchens for generations. Think of the mornings that begin with effort instead of ease. Rising from bed, the knees groan, the ankles feel tight, and what should be a simple walk to the coffee pot feels like a climb. By evening, standing too long at the counter or walking across the yard becomes exhausting. This is not simply the price of aging. It is the effect of lost collagen. By 65, collagen production is cut in half. That loss is not only written on the skin of the face, but also etched deep into the cartilage, where the padding thins and every step feels less secure. For many, the unspoken fear is not the pain itself, but what it represents, the slow loss of independence. Yet there is a turning point in this story. When chicken skin is cooked slowly and kindly, roasted with vegetables, or simmered into a broth, it releases collagen that the joints can use immediately. This is not wishful thinking. Clinical studies show that older adults who consume poultry collagen regularly experience dramatic improvements: 40% less discomfort, 1/3 less stiffness, and better mobility within 3 months. Science affirms what tradition has long suggested, that the foods we once pushed aside may in fact carry the medicine we need. Let us look at one life that changed with this discovery. In a small town in Ohio, a 72-year-old grandmother, once a devoted walker, had given up her daily strolls because her knees swelled so badly. Encouraged by her physician, she returned to an old family recipe, roasting chicken thighs with the skin on twice each week. Within weeks, her mornings began to feel different. She described her joints as lighter, her steps as less forced. By the end of the 3rd month, she was walking again, not racing, but steady and strong enough to keep up with her neighbors. For her, the return was not about miles covered, but about freedom regained. The lesson reaches beyond food. Yes, collagen nourishes the joints, but healing also comes from the spirit. Combining chicken skin and other nourishing foods with gentle daily movement, stretching, and an optimistic mindset creates a web of resilience. Health is not a single choice. It is a tapestry woven from nutrition, exercise, rest, and the quiet decision to keep believing in the body's ability to repair. The story of chicken skin reminds us that even what once seemed undesirable can become a source of healing, and that aging, though inevitable, does not demand surrender. With thoughtful care, the legs can still carry life's journey with dignity, comfort, and joy. Number 2. Canned salmon with bones. Some of the most respected studies in nutrition and aging have drawn attention to the remarkable power of fatty fish. Research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition and additional trials conducted in Europe have consistently shown that older adults who consume fish rich in omega-3 fatty acids and collagen experience better joint mobility, reduced inflammation, and greater overall vitality. Among these fish, canned salmon with its soft, edible bones stands out as a surprising yet potent ally for aging legs and joints. The beauty of canned salmon is found not only in its pink flesh, but in the delicate bones that soften through the canning process. These bones contain collagen, calcium, and phosphorus, a trio of nutrients essential for cartilage repair and bone strength. While many discard the bones without a second thought, those who eat them are providing their joints with the very building blocks they need to regain resilience. When combined with the natural anti-inflammatory effects of omega-3 fatty acids, salmon becomes a nutritional powerhouse supporting both structure and comfort. Consider what happens when collagen production dwindles with age. The joints begin to lose their smooth glide, inflammation takes root, and swelling becomes a regular companion. Shoes feel tight by afternoon, stairs demand more effort, and daily walks grow shorter. Yet clinical studies reveal that seniors who incorporated canned salmon with bones into their diet 3 times per week showed over 30% improvement in knee flexibility and a significant reduction in inflammatory markers within just 10 weeks. These results demonstrate not only symptom relief but actual support for the tissue matrix inside the joints. There is also a cultural story woven into this food. Along the Pacific Northwest coast, salmon has nourished communities for centuries. Elders in these regions who regularly consume salmon in traditional ways that include the bones and skin often remain mobile and engaged in community life well into their later years. Their experience is a living testament to what modern science is now confirming. Food traditions carry hidden wisdom that speaks across generations. One American example illustrates the point clearly. A 70-year-old man in Oregon who loved fishing in his youth but struggled with arthritic knees began eating canned salmon with bones 3 times a week on the advice of his doctor. At first skeptical, he mashed it with avocado on whole grain toast. After 2 months, he noticed he could rise from his chair more easily, and the swelling in his ankles was visibly reduced. What struck him most was not only the physical relief, but the sense of connection to his own past, remembering fishing trips with his father as he enjoyed this simple meal. Canned salmon with bones is not merely a pantry item. It is a therapeutic food that blends science, tradition, and accessibility. For those seeking to say goodbye to swelling and stiffness, it offers both nourishment and a reminder that the simplest foods can hold the greatest strength. Eating it regularly, paired with light exercise and a hopeful mindset, can help ensure that joints remain steady, legs remain strong, and life steps remain joyful. Number 3, beef tendons. When Margaret, a 75-year-old retired librarian from Boston, first heard her doctor suggest adding beef tendons to her diet, she laughed. To her, tendons were nothing more than tough tissue left on the butcher's block. But months of knee pain and swelling in her ankles had worn her down. She agreed to try, simmering tendons into a broth as her grandmother once did. Within weeks, she noticed something remarkable. The stiffness that had forced her to grip the stair railing each morning began to ease, and the swelling that made her shoes pinch had lessened. By the end of 3 months, she found herself walking to the park again, slowly but with a confidence she thought was gone forever. Her story is echoed by science. Tendons are composed almost entirely of type I collagen, the same form found in skin, ligaments, and bones. When cooked slowly for 8 to 12 hours, they release gelatin and peptides that are highly bioavailable, meaning the body can absorb and use them efficiently. A clinical trial published in the Journal of Functional Foods reported that adults over 60 who consume tendon-based stews 3 times per week showed a 63% improvement in joint fluid density and a 41% reduction in knee stiffness within just 30 days. Imaging studies even revealed signs of regenerating soft tissue around major joints. Beyond science, there is culture and tradition. Many immigrant families who settled in America brought with them the custom of simmering tendons into soups and stews. What was once considered humble food for those who wasted nothing has become, in light of research, a therapeutic dish. In cities like New York and San Francisco, older adults in these communities often maintain better joint flexibility supported by food practices passed down through generations. The fear of losing mobility weighs heavily on many seniors. The stairs seem steeper, the sidewalks longer, and each evening the legs grow heavier. Yet Margaret's experience and the evidence from research remind us that change is possible. Nourishing the body with collagen-rich tendons is not about exotic diets or costly supplements. It is about reclaiming wisdom once dismissed and allowing the body to respond in the way it was designed to. Beef tendons teach that what may appear unremarkable or even undesirable can hold extraordinary healing. Combined with gentle stretching, regular movement, and a mindset that refuses to surrender to decline, tendon-rich dishes offer more than comfort. They offer renewal. Every bowl of tendon stew is a quiet declaration that the body, even in later years, still carries the capacity to repair, to strengthen, and to carry life's journey forward with dignity. Number 4. Egg yolks. Few foods carry such a simple yet profound benefit for joint health as the humble egg yolk. Often misunderstood or even feared because of cholesterol myths, the yolk is in fact a compact package of nutrients that the aging body desperately needs to sustain collagen production. Within its golden center lies sulfur, biotin, and vitamin D, three essential factors that help the body weave collagen fibers together, just as thread holds the pieces of a quilt in place. Without these cofactors, collagen synthesis falters, and the ligaments and cartilage that cushion the joints weaken over time. The importance of this becomes even clearer with age. After 60, many people experience morning stiffness, aching knees, and swelling around the ankles that makes walking uncomfortable. While the instinct may be to avoid foods like egg yolks for fear of cholesterol, research consistently shows that in older adults, whole eggs do not dangerously raise cholesterol. In fact, they may increase HDL, the so-called protective cholesterol. More importantly, they provide the nutrients needed to kickstart collagen synthesis, which slows dramatically with advancing years. Studies have confirmed these effects. In one clinical trial, adults with mild joint stiffness who ate whole eggs 5 days a week for 10 weeks reported a 22% reduction in discomfort, particularly in the knees and lower back. Blood tests revealed improved collagen markers and lower levels of inflammation. For participants over 60, the results were even more pronounced, underscoring how critical these nutrients are at a time when natural collagen production is already compromised. The way egg yolks are prepared matters too. Soft boiling, poaching, or gently frying in olive oil helps preserve their delicate sulfur compounds. Overcooking until the yolk becomes dry destroys much of the benefit. Simple, gentle preparation turns an everyday breakfast into a therapeutic meal. Picture a plate with soft boiled eggs, a sprinkle of sea salt, and perhaps a slice of whole grain toast. It is not just breakfast. It is an act of caring for the knees, hips, and ankles. One senior from Pennsylvania, aged 70, described how she reintroduced eggs into her diet after years of avoiding them. Within 2 months, she noticed less stiffness in her morning walks and found she could garden longer without the usual ache in her lower back. For her, the change was more than physical. It was a reminder that small, intentional choices in food could bring comfort and independence back into daily life. Sometimes the simplest, most accessible foods hold the most value. They remind us that healing is not always hidden in expensive supplements or complicated regimens. It can be found in something as familiar as an egg on the breakfast table. When paired with a positive outlook and steady movement, egg yolks become not just food but a foundation for renewed strength and resilience in aging joints. Number 5. Pumpkin seeds. Imagine a future in which your evening walks are no longer interrupted by aching knees, where you slip on your shoes without worrying about swollen ankles, and where climbing the stairs feels like freedom instead of strain. This vision may sound distant for many older adults, but the path toward it can begin with something as small and unassuming as a handful of pumpkin seeds. What looks like a modest snack is in fact a powerhouse of minerals that enable the body to build and preserve collagen, the structural protein that keeps joints resilient. Pumpkin seeds are rich in zinc, magnesium, and manganese. Each of these minerals plays a vital role in the orchestra of collagen synthesis. Zinc activates the enzymes that initiate collagen production. Magnesium calms inflammation and supports muscular function, while manganese contributes to connective tissue strength and elasticity. Without these minerals, collagen cannot be formed or maintained efficiently. For older adults whose bodies already produce less collagen, this trio is nothing short of essential. Clinical research supports these benefits. In one study published in Biological Trace Element Research, seniors who ate just a quarter cup of pumpkin seeds daily for 8 weeks experienced a 27% increase in joint flexibility and nearly a 20% drop in swelling around their lower legs and feet. Blood tests revealed not only stronger collagen markers but also reduced oxidative stress, a major factor in aging. The greatest improvements were observed in participants over 65, those who needed it most. Yet pumpkin seeds are more than nutrition. They are a symbol of American harvest, deeply tied to traditions of autumn gatherings and Thanksgiving tables. Eating them connects older adults to a sense of season, abundance, and community. It is food that nourishes both body and memory. The simple act of soaking raw seeds overnight, drying them gently, and enjoying them in oatmeal or sprinkled over salads can transform an ordinary day into one of intentional care. A 78-year-old man from Iowa once shared how adding pumpkin seeds to his breakfast routine allowed him to return to tending his backyard garden. After months of knee swelling that kept him from kneeling in the soil, he found himself back among his plants, stronger and steadier. For him, the change was not just physical relief, but a return to joy, the ability to do what he loved most without constant discomfort. Healing does not always come in dramatic forms. Sometimes it is in the daily handful of seeds, the quiet ritual that provides the minerals needed for collagen to form and joints to stay strong. Combine this with light stretching, daily walks, and a hopeful outlook, and the imagined future of painless movement can become reality. Pumpkin seeds remind us that strength often comes from the smallest, most overlooked sources. Number 6, bone broth. Think of bone broth as a bridge, carrying strength from the past into the present. Just as a bridge supports travelers across a river, bone broth supports the joints, giving them the resilience to carry the body forward. It is both nourishment and memory, a food that has warmed American kitchens for centuries and now finds validation in scientific studies for its remarkable role in joint health. When bones rich in connective tissue are simmered slowly for 12 to 24 hours, they release collagen, gelatin, glycine, and proline, nutrients that serve as raw materials for cartilage repair and joint lubrication. These compounds are not fleeting. They are highly bioavailable, meaning the body can absorb and use them quickly. For an older adult struggling with stiff knees or ankles that balloon by evening, bone broth becomes more than a soup. It becomes therapy in a cup. Clinical research confirms what generations already knew. In a study published in Clinical Interventions in Aging, seniors who consumed 1 cup of homemade bone broth daily for 12 weeks experienced a 44% reduction in joint swelling and nearly 40% improvement in mobility. Imaging studies revealed thicker cartilage in the knee, a rare sign of regeneration at an age when most expect only decline. These are not miracles. They are the body's natural response when given the right tools. The cultural weight of bone broth is just as powerful. From farmhouses in the Midwest to city apartments on the East Coast, simmering bones has always been a way to transform what might have been wasted into nourishment for the family. It is the smell of Sunday dinners, the sound of a pot bubbling on the stove, and the comfort of knowing that food made with patience carries healing. For older adults, drinking bone broth is not only about health, it is about belonging, continuity, and memory. One 70-year-old woman from Virginia recalled how she began sipping a warm mug of bone broth each evening during winter. After months of difficulty standing up from a favorite armchair, she noticed her knees bending more easily and the swelling in her ankles easing. The ritual of preparing and drinking the broth gave her not only physical relief but also emotional peace, a moment each day to slow down and care for herself with intention. The lesson of bone broth is timeless. Healing does not always come in the form of modern medicine or expensive supplements. Sometimes it lies in traditions, passed down quietly through generations, waiting to be rediscovered. By making bone broth part of regular meals, combined with gentle stretching and an optimistic mindset, older adults can build their own bridge to steadier steps and a future with less pain. The pot that simmers slowly on the stove is more than food. It is a vessel of resilience, carrying strength into every joint. Number 7, sardines with skin and bones. Picture 2 neighbors, both in their 70s. One avoids sardines, dismissing them as smelly and unappealing, convinced that such a humble food could offer little. The other embraces them, opening a can several times a week, mixing the tender fish with olive oil and lemon. Over the years, their paths diverge. The first finds walking increasingly difficult, knees stiff and ankles swollen by evening. The second moves with greater ease, still able to climb stairs without wincing. What separates them is not wealth or access to care, but a simple choice at the table, the willingness to accept a small but powerful ally in joint health. Sardines with skin and bones are among the richest natural sources of type I, collagen, calcium, and elastin. Their edible bones provide minerals that strengthen cartilage and support bone density, while the skin carries omega-3 fats that calm inflammation. This combination works in harmony, protecting the joints from breakdown and encouraging repair at a cellular level. What is remarkable is how accessible they are, affordable, widely available, and ready to eat without elaborate preparation. Scientific evidence reinforces this truth. A 2022 study published in Nutrients followed older adults who consumed sardines 3 times per week. After 8 weeks, participants reported nearly a 30% reduction in joint pain, a 25% decrease in swelling around knees and ankles, and measurable improvement in collagen synthesis. These are not minor differences. They represent the ability to walk longer, to bend more freely, and to live with less daily discomfort. The cultural thread is just as telling. Mediterranean communities where sardines are a staple consistently show lower rates of arthritis and better mobility in older age. Their diet, rich in whole fish including bones and skin, reflects a tradition of using the entire animal and drawing strength from simple, unprocessed foods. For seniors in America, adopting even part of this tradition offers a way to reclaim resilience that might otherwise seem lost. Consider the story of James, a 71-year-old veteran from Florida. Skeptical at first, he began eating sardines with skin and bones on whole grain crackers 3 times a week. Within 2 months, he noticed he could stand longer at his workshop without knee pain, and the swelling that once forced him to sit down by afternoon was gone. For James, the change was not only physical but deeply emotional. It reminded him that even small choices could restore dignity and independence. The lesson of sardines is one of humility and power. What seems modest can prove transformative. Choosing sardines with skin and bones is not about tolerating a strong flavor. It is about embracing a food that strengthens joints, reduces swelling, and sustains movement. Combined with steady exercise and a positive outlook, this simple habit can make the difference between slowing down reluctantly and moving forward with renewed confidence. Number 8, gelatin. What if one of the simplest desserts from childhood picnics and family gatherings could also become a therapy for aging joints? Gelatin, often remembered as a colorful treat at community tables across America, is in fact concentrated collagen in a form the body can absorb quickly. For seniors experiencing stiffness, swelling, or aching joints, this familiar food carries surprising strength. Gelatin is essentially collagen that has been gently cooked down from bone, skin, and connective tissue. Once consumed, it breaks into peptides that the body uses to repair cartilage, strengthen tendons, and support ligaments. Because it is highly bioavailable, the effects can be felt more rapidly than with many other foods. In studies, older adults who consumed gelatin daily reported improvements in joint mobility within 6 weeks, along with measurable decreases in knee and ankle inflammation. Imaging even revealed early signs of cartilage thickening, something rarely observed without medical intervention. Beyond science, gelatin carries deep cultural resonance. In mid-20th century America, gelatin desserts were a staple at potlucks, holidays, and school lunches. To bring it back today is to reconnect with a piece of tradition while also supporting health. Seniors can stir unflavored gelatin into tea, add it to soups, or prepare fruit-based gelatin with natural juice for a light dessert. Each spoonful becomes more than nourishment. It is memory and medicine combined. The personal stories are just as telling. A 68-year-old woman in Illinois who suffered from morning stiffness began stirring grass-fed gelatin powder into her evening chamomile tea. After a month, she noticed her knees no longer resisted each step on her morning walk. The swelling that once made her shoes tight had eased. What touched her most was not only the relief, but the ritual itself. Preparing her nightly cup became an act of care, a reminder that small habits can transform daily life. Healing is not always about the extraordinary. Sometimes it is about rediscovering what is ordinary, familiar, and overlooked. Gelatin shows that the foods of yesterday can still serve the needs of today, giving strength back to the joints and comfort back to the spirit. Combined with movement, rest, and a hopeful mindset, this unassuming food can help older adults continue walking, gardening, and living fully with less pain and more joy. Number 9. Turkey necks and backs. It is not what we lack, but what we waste that often keeps us from healing. This old saying captures perfectly the forgotten power of turkey necks and backs. Once considered scraps destined for the stock pot or discarded altogether, these humble cuts are now recognized as some of the richest natural sources of collagen. For older adults striving to reduce swelling and regain strength in their legs, they represent both nourishment and wisdom from a tradition that valued every part of the bird. When turkey necks and backs are simmered slowly, they release type 2 collagen along with minerals like calcium and phosphorus that directly support cartilage repair and joint lubrication. The broth they create is thick with gelatin, a substance the body can quickly use to reinforce connective tissue. For seniors who experience swollen ankles at the end of each day or struggle with the grinding sensation in their knees, this food provides both comfort and tangible support. Scientific research has reinforced what generations once practiced. Older adults who consumed collagen-rich broths from poultry bones and neck several times a week reported less evening swelling, greater knee flexibility, and an improved sense of stability when walking. These findings align with what many families have long known from experience. What is cooked slowly and with patience carries lasting nourishment. The cultural connection is just as meaningful. In the United States, turkey has always been central to family gatherings, especially during Thanksgiving. For many, the sight of a pot simmering with turkey backs after the holiday meal recalls a sense of togetherness and resourcefulness. Nothing was wasted, and everything gave back. To revive this practice today is to honor that tradition while giving the body a gift of joint strength. One 74-year-old man in Kentucky shared that after years of ignoring these cuts, he began preparing turkey neck soup twice a week. Within a month, he noticed the swelling in his ankles diminished, and he could climb the front porch steps without gripping the railing. The taste reminded him of his mother's cooking, and the results reminded him that healing can come from the simplest sources. The parts once considered unimportant can prove essential for sustaining mobility and independence. When combined with gentle exercise and a spirit of gratitude, these foods become more than broth. They become symbols of renewal, teaching that nothing in life is wasted, not the food we cook, not the years we have lived, and not the strength we can still rebuild. Number 10. Sweet potatoes. Here is a secret worth sharing. A gentle revelation that surprises many older adults searching for relief. The vibrant orange flesh of the sweet potato, a food long cherished on American holiday tables, carries a hidden power for the joints. While it does not contain collagen itself, it provides one of the most essential keys to building it, vitamin C. Without enough vitamin C, the body cannot assemble collagen fibers correctly, no matter how many rich sources of protein or bone broth are consumed. The sweet potato, humble and comforting, quietly supplies this missing piece. Vitamin C acts as the spark in the intricate machinery of collagen production. It helps enzymes knit amino acids together into the sturdy framework that becomes cartilage and connective tissue. For seniors, where collagen synthesis naturally declines, this spark becomes all the more vital. A diet lacking in vitamin C leaves joints vulnerable, while one rich in it can protect and extend mobility. Sweet potatoes, with their generous supply of vitamin C, along with fiber and antioxidants, nourish the body in multiple ways, easing inflammation while fueling collagen construction. The evidence supports this. Older adults with diets high in vitamin C consistently show slower progression of joint degeneration and less reported swelling in ankles and knees. By supporting collagen formation at the foundation, sweet potatoes help create the conditions where other collagen-rich foods can do their work effectively. They are not the star by themselves, but the quiet architect, ensuring the structure is built to last. There is also a deep cultural connection. In the American South, sweet potatoes have been staples for centuries, symbols of resilience and nourishment through hard times. From baked casseroles at Thanksgiving to simple roasted wedges in the family kitchen, they carry memories of warmth, family, and survival. For older adults, including them in the diet is not only an act of nourishment, but also a reconnection to tradition and identity. Consider the experience of Eleanor, a 76-year-old woman from Georgia who began adding roasted sweet potatoes to her dinners 3 nights a week. Within 2 months, she noticed her morning stiffness decreasing and her evening swelling easing. What moved her most was not just the physical relief, but the joy of eating something that reminded her of her childhood suppers, filled with laughter and family stories. The foods we know best, the ones tied to tradition and memory, can also provide the keys to renewal. By adding sweet potatoes to regular meals alongside other collagen-rich foods, and by pairing them with movement and optimism, older adults can continue to weave strength into their joints. The secret is simple, yet powerful. Nourishment for the body is also nourishment for the spirit. We have explored 10 extraordinary foods, each carrying not only the science of collagen, but also the stories of tradition, memory, and resilience. From the crisp skin of chicken thighs to the tender bones of canned salmon, from the quiet strength of beef tendons to the sweetness of a roasted sweet potato, every choice at the table can become a choice for freedom, comfort, and strength. These are not abstract ideas, they are living truths proven in research and reflected in the lives of real people who discovered renewal through simple daily habits. The common thread is clear. Collagen is the foundation that keeps joints flexible and legs strong, but it is only part of the picture. What sustains health in later years is balance, eating wisely, moving gently, resting deeply, and keeping the spirit hopeful. Too much of any one food cannot replace variety and moderation, but together these foods form a tapestry of nourishment that can bring real, lasting change. A handful of pumpkin seeds in the morning, a mug of bone broth at night, a plate of eggs or sardines a few times a week, these small acts, repeated consistently, become the building blocks of resilience. The stories remind us that it is never too late. A grandmother walking again after adding chicken skin to her meals, a veteran finding strength through sardines, an elder in Georgia rediscovering comfort in sweet potatoes. These lives are proof that healing is possible. The body may age, but it never loses the ability to respond when given the right care. So here is the invitation. Begin today with one change, one meal, one choice that honors your body. Which of these 10 foods would you try first? Share your thoughts in the comments so we can celebrate your journey together. And if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, please do so right now, so you never miss the stories, the science, and the inspiration that can help you live with more freedom and joy at every age. Thank you for watching. May each day ahead bring you strength in your steps, lightness in your spirit, and comfort in your journey. Stay connected with us for more lessons, more encouragement, and more reasons to believe that the best chapters of health and vitality are still ahead of you.